In the midst, or are we not in a recession?
No. Yes. No.
No.
Yes. No.
Yes.
By
No.
definition, Clark, we are not. You can't make up your own definitions. We've had 2 straight quarters of positive growth. You have to have 2 straight quarters of negative growth to have a recession. We're
sure
not
do.
in a recession.
Now, let me elaborate on the no. Clark, then we'll give you the floor, since
Okay.
Neil and I agree.
Yeah.
The reason that the administration does not use the R word is because there are 3 economies: the national, the local, and the personal. So what has happened is the liberal leaders in Washington have demagogued the idea of recession because some people are in a personal recession, but the national economy is not in a recession. I'm talking specifically about Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats in Congress, Harry Reid, that leadership. They are convincing some people that the whole nation is in shambles because of some individual personal recession.
And usually because of their own individual personal decision making.
Yes.
All right. Well,
but they drummed him out of the Republican Party. I mean, nobody would pay him any attention. He's the only guy that has the courage to speak the truth. Look at what he says on the Senate Banking Committee when he talks to Ben Bernanke and when he talked to Alan Greenspan all these years. He's talked about all this. He's warned about all this, but everybody has ignored him.
Also, to solve this problem, you have to understand why we're in a recession. I believe we're in a recession. I think it's going to get a lot worse. If we could do a whole lot by having sound money where we don't print the money out of thin air. That causes the business cycle. That causes your bubbles. We're always dealing with the symptoms and the disease and never saying, how did this come about? You know, it comes about because we have a Federal Reserve that creates money and credit out of thin air. There's a lot of malinvestment. That's the most important thing to understand about the inflation of the monetary system, is the malinvestment. Then later on, people suffer, you wipe out a middle class, but it's the evil of it all is the vehicle for financing wars that we shouldn't be in and a welfare state that we shouldn't be doing. And the longer you delay the recession, the worse the recession is. And we've delayed a serious recession for a long time. The housing market is already in depression. And a lot of people are hurting. The standard of living in this country is going down. Look at what's happening to the dollar. How are you going to protect the dollar? If you don't have the dollar maintaining its value, no matter where you put the money, you're not going to have any value. That's where the crisis is coming. You're going to go up with all these cost of living increases, but you'll never keep up with the cost of living because the dollar is going down, the cost of living is going up. Our dollar today is worth 4 cents compared to the dollar of 1913 when the Federal Reserve took in charge of it. And if you don't deal with the dollar, there will be no retirement for anybody. We're going to have chaos. Look at the price of oil in the last 10 years. If you look at it in terms of dollars, it went up 350%. If you look at it in euros, it went up about 200%. If you look at it in the price of gold, it stayed flat. It's the inflation. It's the printing of money. It's the destruction of the value of the dollar.
Give this man his due. Back then, in the height of that bubble, in the height of that party, he did. Ron Paul knew and said then that something was wrong with our financial system a long time ago.